Okay, so in this short but sweet and really helpful video, we are going to be going through how I create Claude projects, what they are, why I use them, what they're really helpful for. If you are a digital marketing agency or like a content creator and you're working with a bunch of different clients and you want to keep everything straight and everything on brand, this is really helpful for you. If you work at a company, and so often a lot of companies are having initiatives to use AI more, but then like people are going rogue with this. This is a really great tool, both this and custom GPTs. So whichever major platform you're using, but this is really helpful to put everything in one place and have everybody working out of that one place. So it's not just use AI more and you're still getting like weird use cases and people using it in different ways and adding their own flair. This keeps things consistent, on brand, feeling like you, staying on strategy, staying on messaging in the easiest way possible. So the background is I'm onboarding a vet practice into my agency. We're doing a lot of stuff for them. So social media work, we're helping with their Google My Business, their local SEO, their GEO, if you know what that is. And I want to make sure that everything that we are creating is consistent and is on brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to literally set this up in real time with you so that you can see how easy this is. So let me share my screen. And I want to show you a few different things that I have going on. So first is I created the instructions, the training documents. You'll see how this gets plugged in. I also did a brain dump of just like everything about the project. When I did the onboarding, I actually spoke to the vet in charge and just really grabbed everything on his brain in his words. And you'll see how I did that in two ways. So this is kind of like what I took as notes, but then also you'll see it when I go into the documents, I recorded it so that my computer could also see, okay, well, what was Katie saying versus what is the vet saying? And so that it could replicate his voice, his tone, all of that stuff based off of the transcript of the call. So that is a game changer, but that's actually so easy, particularly if you want your brand to be an extension of your voice. And then the last thing, because we are doing organic social content, I kind of did the first week. We're going to be testing it out. This will probably change a little bit, but I did the first week of what the content's going to look like across the channels so that in addition to me explaining the tone in the documents, there's also real examples for Claude to pull from. And so this is what I always recommend. Also, if you aren't like new and starting this up, like we're reviving this account, if you already know like this is what it is and this is the type of content that performs best, I always suggest you put that in and say reference that, replicate off of that because you know that it's successful for your company with your target audience, all of that stuff. And then if you're like, wait, this is all helpful, but I don't have any of this, by the way, I have a workbook that walks you through step by step how to create these initial documents so that by the end of it, within 90 minutes, you should have at least a solid starting point, like most of this ready to go. I say most of this because you might not be doing social content. So it's not going to be like, and then put your social stuff in here. But I'll drop that link in the description. It's $37. It takes 90 minutes and you will walk away with your foundation to build this out as a Claude project in ChatGPT as a custom GPT. It's there if you need it. But so what we're going to do is we're going to come into Claude. You need the paid version of this. It's called Pro Plan or it's called Pro. That's the level on Claude. And we're literally just going to create a new project by clicking that new project. And so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to call it West Animal Hospital. And then you could put this in because it's just, if other team members are going to be using this, then yes, write a description for sure. Right now for this, to save time, I'm just going to not fill this in. I'm going to say create project. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in here first. I'm going to go into the instructions and that's what this is. I'm literally just going to copy and I'm going to paste. So that's in here, save instructions. And then I already downloaded everything. So you saw me walk you through it really quickly. What I'm going to do is just go into my downloads and I'm just going to pull it all in. As I do that, while it's uploading, that will take 2 seconds. But that transcript that I was talking about, like that's just the call transcribed. So it's not only the notes that I captured, but everything that the vet said in his own words, which, like I said, is invaluable. So that's basically done. The first thing that you'll always want to do is just kind of go in and be like, please review everything in this project. The instructions and files to ensure you have a clear, comprehensive view of what this project is, who the client is, what our goals are, who we're talking to. Um, um, Let me know if you, oops, understand the requests and needs, and if you have any holes that need to be filled to the hardest part of making these videos to complete the work as expected. Ay, ay, ay. Expected every single time. So I always go in and I ask it to validate, saying, do you understand what you're doing? Is there anything else you need from me in order to make this work? So here we go. I'm gonna try to blur this out, I think, just so that you don't see anything in the video. Um, but okay, so here is some of the stuff. We can see some of the questions. Um, Okay, so we are reviving this account, or I have to fix it now. So there's no existing performance data to go off of. Answering the questions as cadence, posting daily. It's the answer to all those questions. The reason that we always go through this is because these are things that don't necessarily need to be updated in the document. These were more tactical things. But if there's something like, hey, I don't understand the tone, I don't understand the goal, I don't understand the audience, you would complete that. You would answer all those questions, and then you would go and update the documents to make sure that they are as complete and clear and helpful as possible. So from that, the way that this works is, so now we have the projects. You can see it in projects. For example, let's kind of put it into work right now. So now that we're in here, let's actually show how it works. So anything that you want reference to the project, you have to come into projects, and then you go and click on the project and you start a new chat. So that's the chat that we were just working in. Let's say someone from my team was coming in. A real life example is, I want to create a couple fun B-roll. Let's actually say, I need your help creating the scroll stocking, say copy overlay. ETAs should be armadillo because they do exotic animals. Yeah, it's usually say looking should. So we trained it. I told it what my next need was. I tried to give it as much context as possible without having to put too much effort on me. And then we're just going to let it run. Okay, so now that we did this, we're able to go through it really quickly. We can refine. The one thing that I will say is these at the beginning require a little bit of back and forth, like massaging, to make sure they really understand. I would say for this client in particular, I'm not going to worry too much about what it says just yet. I'm going to obviously refine and we put it in, but we're still so new that I want to actually start creating content and seeing what actually resonates and what performs well before I get too hung up on all the words. And we go from there. But it's as simple as that. I would then just kind of plug it into my internal tracking system, and we're able to start creating. So follow along with West Ave Animal Hospital if you want to see this content in real life. Follow me, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more how-tos, and how easy it is to leverage AI in more than just a content copywriter, but more of a content system to support you and your team. And yeah, and I'll also drop that workbook below. So hope this helped. Leave any questions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon.